Okay, let's talk about the 5 myths about LLMs. Now, this video is for people who are trying to build LLMs or company owners trying to get funding or whatever. When you're building LLM-based systems, these are the 5 things to think about when building your application. Now, there is a lot of people that like to hate on LLMs and what it can do. And I am not an LLM hater. I just want to make that clear. I think there's a lot of opportunity in this market that can be extracted. However, when building applications, there are things you may want to think about when building an LLM. Now, who am I? Why should you listen to me? I hold a master's degree in AI, published 2 academic papers, worked as a research developer and whatnot. I work with the clients right now, and I've been learning machine learning since 2019, building LLMs, machine learning models, before ChatGPT was a thing. So I've been around the block. Now, we got that out of the way. Let's get on with the first myth. LLMs are like humans and can reason. Now, this thing that I've actually observed to a lot of people, they think the LLMs and ChatGPTs of the world are the end-all be-all that can be like humans replace human workers or whatnot. I hate to break it to you, it's not going to happen, at least not in the upcoming short future. And the problem with that is LLMs are, in essence, just a bunch of neurons crunching numbers. They don't have emotions, they cannot taste anything, smell anything. They cannot be humans in that sense. They can do a lot of other things that are extremely nice, but they're not humans yet. So this is something to think about when you're building an AI application. Myth number 2. Training LLMs are expensive. Also not true, because training LLMs, if you have like an open source model like Llama 3, 8 billion, you have Vita 2, which just got released yesterday, and a few other models that are like underneath 27 billion parameters or less, or 70 billion, you can still use a Google Colab, which costs like 50 euros or $50 per month. You should be able to train it with no problem. Now, there are 2 different ways to train it, really. You can use a fine-tuning, which is training the last couple of layers to your own data and trying to adapt it, which can give some pretty good performance with very little data. But also, you can do further pre-training. So you have the base model, and you can do further pre-training to get or tell the model like, hey, these are the type of data I really work with. Try to learn it. Myth number 3, LLM speaks the truth. Now, I've observed this to a lot of people, and when you're building an application, you have to really make sure that you don't put your entire logic on the LLM, which means that there's a lot of things that are happening in the neurons that we don't really understand. And you may want to expect a certain output from an LLM, but it may not give the output that you want. It doesn't always speak the truth. You give a prompt and it gives a different answer every time. So we cannot truly rely on it. So just something to think about when you're building an LLM application. Now, making LLM the product, I think this goes together with the previous point as well. You cannot simply make the LLM the product. It cannot be the end-all solution of it. You have to make sure you have existing infrastructure surrounding it, making a controlled output of the LLM. You can use function calling, RAG-based systems. You can train it with your own data to get a better output. You cannot simply make the LLM do all the dirty work for you. And now it can probably help you in the prototyping stages and whatnot, but when you're deploying it, productionizing it, serving to customers and clients, you may not want to ruin your reputation just by using the LLM. Make sure you have a combination of software engineering systems with the LLM combined together. And realistically, LLM should be 20 to 30% of the actual solution. And that is a stretch even. And the 5th is data doesn't matter. I've spoken with a lot of people, especially beginners who are just getting inside this niche, which is they just get a really big fancy model with either open source or GPT-4 model. They kind of neglect the idea of data, having good amount of data and stuff like that. The thing is, you cannot expect the model to give the output you want. If you don't tell the model, hey, these are the type of data I tend to work with. This is my domain. And you have to train the model. Not only that, there's another argument that what is the size of data that you really need for your models? And that is something you have to kind of try and error based upon your domain. Certain domains may require more data than others, but for most cases, if you have a few thousand data points or even 10,000 preferably, these type of data ranges would be ideal when you are making a model like this. And there you guys have it. That is the 5 myths that I found most common among my clients and people I talk to. So these are some things you guys can think about when you're deploying, building a machine learning model, just to have a mental framework of it. I hope you guys found this video insightful. If you guys did, please feel free to subscribe. I make similar videos like these. All right, guys, have a nice day.